Okay, so just a quick show of hands. How many of you here don't enjoy using the treadmill? You don't enjoy using the treadmill? Just real quick, I don't judge. That's good. You're my kind of people. Okay, so there was a time in my life where I absolutely hated running on the treadmill. I mean, absolutely hated it. But I would try and get into gear, like motivate myself. Come on, Tols, you can do it, okay. So I would get to the gym very early in the morning because I don't want anyone else to see me. And I'm like, all right, honey, let's just do 5 minutes. So as I get on the treadmill, I'm like, oh, this is easy. I don't know what I was so worried about. And then in my head, I'm thinking, I must have done like 30 minutes because, come on now, I'm sweating so hard. And then I look down and I'm like, oh, that's just 3 minutes. But you see, just as I'm about to get into gear 2, just as I'm about to play Eye of the Tiger, I'm just about to get into it, somebody from somewhere comes to the treadmill right next to me. And honey, I'm like, bitch, why are you gonna clog my space? But you see, the problem was not with that girl next to me. The problem was with me because automatically I go into this phase of comparison. So when that person puts a speed of 5, I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to do 5.2. When that person puts an inclination of 6, I'm like, I'm going to do 6.1. This person doesn't even know me, but I'm here sweating and trying to compare myself to this other person. So I only ended up hating running even more because I wasn't running my race on my own pace. I was running my race according to somebody else's pace. You see, I paint this story for you today because I feel this is how many of us do life. Instead of running our own race, we are constantly looking at what other people are doing. We are constantly looking left and right to see how fast or how slow we should go. At least for me, that was my story, especially when it came to the word passion. See, I'm originally Nigerian, so I grew up in a Nigerian family. So the word passion wasn't new to me. In fact, I think the first time I heard about it, I must have been about 7. And my dad said to me, Toluwa, what is it you want to do with your life, What are you passionate about? And I'm like, what does that mean? What do you like to do every day? So at 7, I'm like, oh, I don't know, computer games? And so he was like, you can be a computer scientist. Good girl. Don't even get me started. So for about 5 years, I was going around telling people, I'm going to be a computer scientist, even though I didn't have any idea what computer science was actually about. So when I was turning 12 or 13, I was getting to my teenage years, my passion began to change. So when my dad asked me again, Toluwa, what is it you're going to do with your life every day, computer games, And I'm like, no, Dad, I'm going to be a psychologist. My daughter, very good. You're going to be a psychologist, You're passionate about people. I'm like, no, not really. I'm only passionate about boys. You see, at the time, I thought if I became a psychologist, I could understand what my crush was thinking about me. So that was the best way to get at it. But I say this as a joke today, but actually for over 20 years of my life, I struggled with the word passion. What passion meant to me, what I was actually meant to do with my life. But 2 years ago became one of the best times of my life. Because I finally realized that why I struggled so much was because I was comparing myself to other people. So every day as a young girl, I would come home and tell my dad a different thing. Oh, Dad, today I'm going to be a dancer. And then next week, today I'm going to be a doctor. And then today I'm going to be a psychologist. And it almost became like the boy who cried wolf because the next time I came home to tell my dad my passion, he was like, yeah, we've heard it all before. How long is this going to last? But 2 years ago, I told myself, I am just going to do me. I am tired of trying to be like other people. I am tired of looking at what other people are doing, of looking how fast or how slow other people are going. So July 2015, I found my passion. I realized that I like talking to people, funny as that may seem. I realized that I loved working with the young generation, with children, with young adults. I just wanted to be in their space and see what motivates them. So I started to look for opportunities that reflected on my own strength, that reflected on ways that I could build my weaknesses. So that was July 2015. So I became like a rabbit just out of the cage, because my whole life I've been waiting for this one time that I found my passion. So even when I met people, I'm like, hi, nice to meet you, my name is Passion. Oh, hi, I'm Toluwa, I just want to change the world. So you see, between July 2015 and December 2015, I had applied for 60 to 50 odd jobs. 60, 50 odd jobs of what I thought reflected my own passion. 6 months. But I kid you not when I say not even one of them got back to me. I mean, not even one of them picked up the phone and said, hi, sorry, darling, we just want to clarify if your name is Toluwa and not Tolula, which I get a lot as well. So what happens when doubt starts to build up? When discouragement starts to build up? When failure and rejection starts to build up? It becomes so easy to give up. You see, I was on my lane, I was ready to go, but I don't know how many of you here know that it's just as you were about to get into gear 2 that the race becomes a whole lot harder. You see, between 6 months, all I planned was for a 100-meter race. I was just going to run my own race. I wasn't going to compare myself to anybody. And December 2015, I'm like, why is it so hard? How can nobody realize my potential, my passion? I am good at this, I know. How can nobody see that this is what I want to do? But you see, something that I forgot to do, or rather I didn't realize at the time, was to feed my passion. You see, I don't know how many of you here know that it's not enough just to have passion. You have to put in that work. You have to get up and go. But you see, the thing I realized, 2 lessons from that event, from, I would say, my lowest. Because in December 2015, if this was 100 feet of crap, and let's say this was rock bottom, I was about 50 to 60 below here. Because I couldn't just understand why people were not letting me turn my passion into action. So the 2 things I learned was the power of positivity. The power of positivity. Now, one of my favorite movies is Finding Nemo. And some of you laugh, but I'm actually not ashamed. And to give you the story, is that Nemo goes missing. It gets taken away by divers. So his dad is looking for him. I have to find my son. But Nemo's dad doesn't find his son alone. He has a friend named Dory. And of course, it's a Disney movie, so everybody finds each other, everybody's happy, movie's over. But what I got from that movie actually was Dory. You see, when Nemo's dad got overwhelmed by his circumstance, when Nemo's dad was like, I can't swim anymore, look at the sharks. I can't swim anymore, look at all those jellyfishes. I can't swim anymore, I'm actually not a good swimmer. Dory was there to say, it's okay, just keep on swimming. It's okay, just keep on swimming. It's okay, just keep on swimming. You see, when I was at my lowest, I had that one person that told me, it's okay, Toluwa, you need to get up and go. It's okay, Toluwa, you need to keep going. It's okay, Toluwa, you need to keep running. Just that one person that tells you that it's okay, even though you thought you were running a 100-meter race. And all of a sudden, it's turned into like a triathlon. Things that you didn't expect. It's okay, but you need to keep going. The second thing I learned was to take small steps. You see, now I actually love running on a treadmill as well. But it didn't come overnight. I started going back to the gym, and I'm like, okay, Toluwa, just do 5 minutes, a speed of 5, an inclination of 6. Zone out the noise. Next day, I'm like, we're going to build it up. Do 6 minutes, a speed of 7, an inclination of 8. Next day, I built it up a notch. And little by little, I started to see my stamina increase. I started to see my endurance increase. I started to see my strength increase. That's exactly how passion is. If you don't stir it up, if you don't put in the work, it's only going to remain as passion. You see, for me, I see passion like a seed. If you put a seed in a soil, what happens? Some of you here like, it grows. No, it doesn't. But if you put that seed in a soil and start to surround it with sunlight, you start to water it day by day, day by day, that seed will turn into a beautiful plant. You see, that's exactly how passion is. It's like a seed in us. But if you don't water it, if you don't surround it with positivity, it would only remain passion. And passion without action would only create a meaningless reaction in your situation. That you almost want to start switching lanes. That you almost want to give up. That you start telling yourself, I'm not good enough. My passion is not good enough. So you start looking at what other people are doing. Oh, wait, what's that person doing? Is a dancer. Okay, so maybe I'll be a dancer too. Or what's that person doing? Oh, yeah, he's a good cook. Ooh, maybe I can cook something as well. You start to lose focus of your own lane, of why you need to work on yourself. Look, we have been called an entitled generation, a passionate generation. But we are not a lazy generation. It is time for us to get up and go. It is time for us to start feeding our passion. Because when you feed your passion, you start to speak to your situation, and that confidence starts to show in you. You start to go into interviews and say, you know what, actually, I'm good. You start to walk into relationships and say, you know what, actually, my passion is good. I deserve to be here. I deserve to be on stage. I deserve to be in this classroom. But you need to feed your passion. If there is one question I want to challenge you with today, whose lane are you running on? Because I know some of you are here today like, yeah, Toluwa, that's all good. But I don't even know my passion. Like, I don't even have a lane to run on. But somebody once said to me, passion sometimes is hidden behind frustration. Passion is hidden behind frustration. And you see, that was the exact same story in my life, because I stopped asking myself, what is it I like to do every day? And I started asking myself, what am I frustrated about? I see every day as a youth mentor, I could be with a mentee in an art gallery, and both of us are just looking at a picture, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's good, that's good. And all of a sudden, they're like, actually, Toluwa, if that painting just had a bit of yellow, and a bit of green as well, that would have been a masterpiece. And all of a sudden, I'm like, ooh, word, that's so true. I didn't even see it. Sometimes I'm walking with a friend or with a mentee, and they're like buildings everywhere. And suddenly they stop me and say, if only that building was a little bit to the left. If only that building had 5 more flights of stairs. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, that's so true. Because that is their lane. You see, when you start to realize that we were meant to be unlike everybody else and not like everybody else, then you really start to run your race on your own lane. Like, if you take a fish out of the water, it will wiggle and wiggle, and you're like, oh, what kind of creature is this? But you put that same fish back in the water, it would become one of the most beautiful creatures that ever was. If you give me a paintbrush, I could draw you a circle at most. But if you give that same paintbrush to Picasso, what you get is a masterpiece. You see, my generation, it is time that we stop trying to get the pieces from everybody else's lane, trying to fix the pieces from everybody else's lane, and start to realize that we are a masterpiece. It is time that you stop looking elsewhere. Or what is that person doing? I'm going to add that. I'm going to add this. And start to realize that you too are a masterpiece. You see, comparison is the #1 destruction of passion. Comparison will drain your determination. That even when you want to get up and go, even when you want to feed your passion, you can't see your lane. Comparison will sieve your satisfaction. That whatever you do, you're like, but look at that person doing it so much better. Whose lane are you running on? If there's one thing you take away from this talk today, let it be this. Stay on your lane. On your mark, not at anybody else's mark. Get set at your pace. Forget what other people are doing, if they're going too fast or too slow. Just do you. And most importantly, it is time for us to just get up and go. Thank you.